Hello, everybody. This is Your Life, My Hands, and welcome back to my kitchen. Today, I'm actually going to be kind of reviewing a product. I made some homemade spaghetti sauce a while ago, and to do that, I ended up peeling some tomatoes and then put them through a strainer, and it was all manual labor, kind of annoying. And I said I was going to look up more procedures about how this is done or what other ways you can process tomatoes, because that was very laborious. And so I started looking into what are like tomato mills, essentially. They have motorized ones that can do a lot of tomatoes, and I don't really need that. They have some really kind of plasticky, hand cranky ones, and I was like, yeah, I don't know. Some reviews were okay, but I wasn't super impressed. So then I found this one, and this one is by the Hungry Artesian, and it actually is quite nice. Came with three different, you know, whole sizes, so you can do different, coarsenesses or for different uses, jams, jellies, sauces, and so forth. I have the medium one in right now. I washed it, and then from there it's just a hand crank, and you just go around, and it has like a sloped level in here, so it's gonna press down on the stuff. And hopefully it's going to catch all the seeds in the skin. At least that's what all the reviews said. And that's just going to be an experiment we're going to try. So, comes with these nice little, arms for holding on to wherever it goes, and we're going to set that right there. And apparently, like I said, you're supposed to be able to throw skin, seeds, everything in, and it's supposed to mill it. So I'm just going to plop one right in here. I may have to chop this up a little finer to get it to work. Actually, now that I'm looking at it, maybe not. And I'm just going to spin it. We're going to see what happens. Ooh, just made a noise. Okay, so probably we'll need to actually go and chop these up a little finer. Hang on, I got my knife right here. Don't try this at home, kids. We're going to slice off some pieces here. That's a decently sharp knife. Okay, let's try that again. So we're going to spin around. I don't think... Ooh, there we go. I got one. So definitely need to chop these up a little finer. There's definitely some push involved in this. I think it's just supposed to pulverize everything and mush it. I'm sure a motorized one would be quite fancy, but this is what I got so far. Okay, let's push you down because you are stuck. And you were also stuck. Okay, there we go. Now, let's let these things grab. Okay, so, I mean, definitely not perfect by any stretch of the imagination. But I think once it gets down far enough in there to actually grab it. So I think this is just mostly a time thing. And as it catches it into good spots, it's going to start actually pushing it down. Probably having more tomato like product in there will help it bind up and catch. I mean, overall, it seems to be doing the job fairly well if it could actually grab something. Okay, so that's interesting. Here, let me slice up another one and get that one in here so that it has a little bit more tomato to work with. Definitely think cutting these things into smaller bits is absolutely necessary. And I'm going to shove this one down like that. Oh. I'm not quite sure how this is going to prevent skin from getting into the sauces. But I'm not here to question. I'm just here to spin this thing. Okay. Maybe my technique was more laborious, but it actually seemed to work. This just kind of takes a while, it seems. I'm not really sure how much of this stuff I'm getting out too. But let's check it real quick. Okay, so that was only like one tomato, and it's definitely I need more time on this to get it to press it all out. And it looks like there's some seeds down in there. So that's cool. They said that the coarse one was fine for tomatoes, marinara sauces, and stuff. I'm probably going to think maybe not. Yeah, I'm not really sure. So this one, I guess it's okay for its uses. It just kind of shreds everything. There's like I said, far more seeds getting through than I was kind of hoping for. So, yeah, I'm not really sure how I feel about it. I'm going to keep using it, however, and try to get all these tomatoes processed. It's a nice piece of equipment. I just don't think it's functioning quite as well as maybe a higher end one, even though this is a nicely made product. Because right now I really just feel like I'm scraping tomato stuff around, which is what it's supposed to be doing. I just don't know if it's actually doing it right. So, okay. Well, there it is. That is a tomato strainer that works kind of okay, I guess. I'm going to wrap up doing these tomatoes, and I'm going to see what the final product looks like. So let me get these things done, and then we'll do the final review after it's had its chance to do some work. Alrighty. So I wrapped up the other tomatoes that I had, and I have some finalized thoughts on this particular piece of equipment. For one, it actually works, and it does, I believe, as good as it can do for its intended purposes. So I did actually try all three of the different diameter holes and for the, mill plate. And I actually did find that, of course, manufacturer recommended using the coarse ones for sauces and marinades and stuff. And it worked a lot better. It actually allowed more of the tomato to be pressed out. The fine one, while none of the seeds got through, it would mush all the stuff together, but without enough surface area and kind of like cutting ability, it would just cause the fruit to spin. We had a fruit spin going here, which to its internet famous counterpart meat spin was a lot better. But then as you're turning it, you're not actually like pressing out any of the juice. The fruit's just spinning underneath the blade. So I actually went with the coarse one, and I'm sure more seeds got through. So before I really want to make a sauce with this, I'm going to be straining those seeds out. So a little bit more work. And I will say the hardest part about using this thing is keeping it steady. I mean, when you're going along and you'll hit a big chunk of tomato and like it's jumping all over the place, it's a little bit of a struggle to maintain it. But, given what it is, I don't think that's manufacturer problems. So I would say that this is actually a pretty decent product. It was like $40. It's all stainless steel, seems really well made, probably really good for juicing things like apples and other things like that, which is some of the recommendations I've seen. And it did process the tomatoes. And honestly, for like 9 Roma tomatoes, I got some really good looking sauce down there. I'll just have to strain it for seeds probably. I'll check to see how many are in there. Maybe I won't worry about it. But I would say it works. If you're going to be somebody who's like, oh, I'm going to be, canning 100 tomatoes this season out of my backyard, avoid this, or your one arm that you're going to be spinning this thing with is going to be absolutely jacked. So maybe understand the uses. But for me, I want to make a homemade sauce. I have 9 or 10 Roma tomatoes. It works out really well. Realistically, you can only get about 2 tomatoes in here before things kind of start spinning around and it's not actually pressing anything anymore. And the bottom's just layered with skin and stuff like that. So, you got to take it apart, which isn't hard, and then scrape out everything, wash it down, and then you're ready to go again. But that's for like every 2 tomatoes. So, it's not an automated system. I have seen some of those, and I would love to have bought one. Found one I really liked. That's like a hand crank and funnels it in kind of like a meat grinder. And on the outside, you get a string of tomato skins and seeds, and then juice comes out. And that looked really cool, but it's really big, and I don't have much room for it like that. So not yet. But this one, I think, for its intended purposes, is perfect for me. Know your situation and what you're going to be doing. If you're, like I say, if you're trying to go crazy with canning tomatoes or cooking all the time, maybe this isn't for you. So in that case, I would say it works for $40. I think that this thing could serve me for years on end on my particular uses, and I'll try something else one day. But I think for now, this is a pretty good product. Definitely has its flaws, but for being what it is, I totally recommend it. So hope you guys enjoyed. I'm gonna go make some spaghetti sauce now. Now that I actually got more stuff to work with, now that I've done this, because the last time the strainer technique was not much fun. So I'm all set to go. I hope you guys enjoyed. Take care, and I'll talk to y'all later.